Morning, include. We're live at Midway. Also this morning, a flight Los Angeles has emergency landing at O'Hare. Why a laptop is to blame. Plus, Chicago police have a warning after a man says he was robbed and kidnapped at gunpoint in Lakeview. It is Tuesday, December 27th.
Live from Chicago's #1 news, ABC7 Eyewitness News at 7 starts streaming now.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us online. I'm Tanya Babich in for Terrell. And I'm Diane Pathu in for Vale on this December 27th on a Tuesday. Let's talk about the forecast you're starting off with. Well, let's be honest. It's kind of bitterly cold out there.
It looks cold.
It looks cold. It even looks cold. However, Phil, things are about to get sassy around here.
Sassy.
Ooh, sassy weather.
Sassy's one way of putting it. Yeah, we are in for a big thaw that will begin tomorrow. And even today will be the warmest day since December 22nd. Highs at O'Hare up to 26, Midway getting up to 27 as the thaw begins. That's still several degrees below normal. It's 7 in Elmhurst, 9 in Burbank, and 9 at both the airports. So we do have some clouds in our skies, but also some breaks in the overcast. As we go through the day today, temperatures will climb into the mid-20s. There will be sunny to partly cloudy skies today, but look at the high tomorrow up to 42. You think that's warm? How about lower 50s by Thursday? We'll talk about the rain chances as we look into New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. More on that in just a few minutes. Jeremy.
Hey, Phil, still some problems in the outbound Eisenhower. Chopper 7HG is over this crash at Laramie. Multiple lanes are blocked with multiple cars. Let's go ahead and zoom out a little bit, too, as you can see that everything is set off to the right, except right around where the initial impact happened. There's a little bit of damage to the wall. I expect that to be shut, the left lane at least to be shut down sometime during the midday so they can repair the wall. Before that, too, you have a crash at Pulaski. That's sitting in the right lane. Other than that, the rest of your roads, for the most part, looking pretty good. The Stevenson inbound a little heavy, approaching Harlem, but also the Dan Ryan inbound. Sluggish, right around 87th. It's all because of a crash in the left shoulder. Crews have just arrived on scene, and the left lane is blocked. Back to the Stevenson crash. Reports of a crash in that stretch. Tanya and Diane.
Jeremy, thank you. This morning, Southwest Airlines is again dealing with a crisis of canceled flights. Even the CEO of Southwest says he's never seen anything like this. Jessica D'Onofrio is live at Midway, where many passengers are still stranded. Jess?
Yeah, Tanya and Diane, you know, the airlines predicted that today would be the busiest day here at Midway Airport of the holiday travel period. And we have been seeing high volumes of people checking in for their Southwest flights overnight. Right now, that has died down a bit, but there has been incredible chaos here. Southwest canceled 60% of its flights nationwide today. Yesterday, 70% were canceled. The holiday weather wreaking havoc on Southwest's system. Many waiting more than 5.5 hours in line to rebook canceled flights. In many cases, the next available flight is days away. Hundreds of unclaimed bags from Southwest are sitting at Midway Airport this morning. I spoke to Jessica Ojeda, whose Southwest flights were canceled repeatedly last Thursday. She made it to Chicago on Christmas Eve. This morning, she's headed back to Denver, but without her bags.
Dealing with a lost luggage. My luggage never got here. My trip is over. We had to borrow clothes from family members and stuff just to get through the weekend. I'm hoping it is in Denver. I hope I do find my bags.
Southwest in a statement saying our heartfelt apologies for this are just beginning. We anticipate additional changes with an already reduced level of flights as we approach the coming New Year holiday travel period. This morning, the federal government says it's concerned by Southwest's unacceptable rate of cancellations and is looking into all of these problems and reports of lack of prompt customer service. Now back here live, Southwest says it's working to reposition its planes to get things straightened out, and it could take days for everything to get back to normal. Tanya and Diane, back to you.
Jessica, thanks so much for that live update. And now to the latest on the winter storm that's paralyzed much of the western part of New York State, claiming dozens of lives. President Biden has approved federal aid for the Buffalo, New York metro area as it braces for another day of sub-freezing temperatures and lake effect snow. ABC's Justin Finch has more from Washington. Justin.
Good morning. That's right. More feet of snow possibly in the forecast for western New York, where already more than 24 have died in past storm events there. That region still recovering this morning from that weekend snow system, and they are now preparing for yet another big hit. Federal emergency assistance now on the way to a western New York currently crippled by more than 4 feet of snow and bracing for more.
Certainly it is the blizzard of the century.
The Buffalo area reporting at least 29 storm-related deaths, more than half found outside, and more than 500 have been rescued from extreme conditions.
I heard him screaming for help.
This woman credits quick-thinking neighbors for helping her get this man, suffering from apparent severe frostbite, to an emergency room. Buffalo is banning travel on its now treacherous roads, and its airport is remaining closed until at least Wednesday. And scientists are cautioning extreme winter weather could become more common across the country, finding climate change is leading to a rapid warming of the Arctic, which can play a role in driving more frigid air farther south into the U.S. Tanya, Diane, back to you.
Justin Finch reporting live for us. Justin, thank you. And this broke overnight at O'Hare. A Lufthansa flight from Los Angeles landed as a precaution here. There was a small fire in the cabin caused by a passenger's overheated laptop. The fire was out by the time the plane made a safe landing. 2 flight attendants, though, were treated for smoke inhalation. The flight was on its way to Frankfurt, Germany.
New this morning, Chicago police are warning people after a man says he was robbed at gunpoint and then abducted on the north side.
Stephanie Wade is live in Lakeview with a story that's new this morning. Stephanie?
Tanya and Diane, police want people to be on alert. They say this robbery and kidnapping happened here in the busy North Halsted neighborhood on Friday, but we just learned about it overnight. According to Chicago police, a 26-year-old man was walking in the 800 block of West Cornelia Avenue around 10 p.m. when 2 people wearing dark clothing and ski masks approached him. Police say they flashed a handgun and demanded his personal belongings. He was then forced into his car and driven to an ATM in the Auburn Gresham neighborhood, which is more than 17 miles away. The robbers withdrew money from his account, dropped him off, then left, police say. The man refused medical attention while no one is in custody right now. And you may recall back in October, 5 people reported being robbed and kidnapped at gunpoint near Wrigley Field, which is nearby. We reached out to Chicago police this morning. They say at this point they're not able to connect this incident and those rash of robbery and kidnappings, again, that happened back in October, but detectives are reviewing video in the area. Tanya and Diane, back to you.
Thank you, Stephanie. Happening today, the sentencing for a tow truck driver convicted in a deadly road rage shooting. Prosecutors say Anthony Tillman shot and killed 46-year-old Eduardo Munoz in suburban Oak Brook back in 2017. The gunfire was during a road rage incident. Tillman was convicted of first-degree murder in May. A boil order is expected to be lifted sometime today in west suburban Bellwood. The advisory was issued after 2 water main breaks. Bellwood is waiting on test results from water samples before lifting the boil order. A beloved place of worship in a western suburb plans to rebuild after a fire destroyed the church. Authorities say the fire started around 3 yesterday afternoon at 15th and Harrison at New Life in Christ Bible Church, Maywood. The fire grew aggressively, spreading to the roof before that roof collapsed. The senior pastor says the roof was just installed last year.
We were so proud to see a brand new roof put on the church. Then to see it today just totally destroyed. It's gonna take a lot to rebuild, but I know that God is with us.
If you're interested in helping the Maywood Church, we have a link on our website.
A family of 5 with a baby on the way was forced to leave their home of more than a decade and watch it burn on Christmas morning. Julio Avila says his family was preparing for the holiday tradition when a fire tore through their second-floor apartment in Cicero, sending them into the frigid cold with years of memories and Christmas gifts burned.
Everything already except for the baby upstairs, and I think we had to start all over again because everybody got damaged, you know. We hadn't really celebrated Christmas yet, you know. I'm just trying to get settled down and maybe we'll do Christmas another day.
Another family on the first floor was also displaced in the same fire. The cause still under investigation. This is the second day of Kwanzaa. The village of Flossmoor is celebrating again tonight.
Happy Kwanzaa!
Just like last night, community members will again gather this evening to light the Kinara in Flossmoor Park. Friends and neighbors will gather each night through January 1st to celebrate.
There was a Kwanzaa celebration at the Bronzeville Children's Museum yesterday, too. The holiday focuses on African American culture and a different principle each day.
Here is purpose for living, everyday living that they can pass on to the youngest of their children that they have, to the oldest.
Kwanzaa celebrations continue today with a focus on self-determination. The holiday ends January 1st.
You're live in local news just getting started as we stream out loud this morning. Coming up, new details emerging about migrants dropped off outside the official residence of Vice President Kamala Harris in recent days.
First, Phil's got your AccuWeather forecast. He's tracking some sun today and a winter weather warm-up for this week. Next.
Everybody, here's a holiday return quick tip. According to the Better Business Bureau, stores are not legally required to accept exchanges or give refunds unless the merchandise was defective or misrepresented. Most retailers do offer refunds and exchanges though, so keep your receipt and packaging. Most stores will only accept returns and exchanges if you can present the item with its receipt and original packaging. Hold on to any gift receipts you receive. You may still be able to make a return or an exchange without a receipt. Also, bring your ID. To avoid holiday return scams, many stores ask to see your ID when you return an item. Get to know store policies. Before you make a trip, find out if the store has a return policy, and if so, how it works. Understand that many retailers change their policies for the holiday season. For online purchases, find out who pays the shipping on returns. Jason Knowles, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
And we are in for much more comfortable conditions once we get through today. Look at the highs over the next 6 days. Lower 40s tomorrow, lower 50s Thursday and early Friday. Friday afternoon, temperatures will fall and we'll be back into the lower 40s for highs this weekend. Notice the rain chances start to increase as we get closer to New Year's Eve, but we're not talking about a lot of rain. Matter of fact, the European through early Thursday or through Thursday during the daylight hours doesn't show any rain, and then just a few hundreds as we head into Thursday night, early Friday. And the rain we see this weekend, most of us less than 1/10 of an inch of rain. So no big soaking rains, even though it will warm up dramatically. 26 today, that's still below normal. Average high is 34. We're at 7 in Elmhurst, 9 in Oaklawn, 10 in Evanston, 9 at both airports, and still seasonably cold across much of the Midwest. We have a few clouds moving in on this northwest flow, but this high pressure system will keep us dry. As it moves off to the east, we start to see more of a southerly wind. High today 26, and then tomorrow, what a jump in temperatures. Matter of fact, readings tonight hold steady and then climb into the lower 40s tomorrow. And look how much sunshine we'll see. Then the clouds really fill in tomorrow night, but Thursday daylight hours will be dry. There you see that high of 52 as this front stays back to our west. And then it does turn somewhat cooler later Friday. So highs today 24 to 28, sunny to partly cloudy, not as cold. There's the big warm up, that high on Friday early, then temperatures fall. As far as New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, some patchy light rain, but most of the time it will be dry. Jeremy.
Well, Phil, we've been seeing delays on the Eisenhower. This time we're translating them to the Stevenson and the Dan Ryan. Dan Ryan inbound at about 87th. The new crash blocks of 2 right lanes. But the Stevenson inbound, we sent Chopper over there for a little bit. There's a single vehicle crash in the left lane right around Cicero. As you can see, delays all the way back to Harlem. So if you are headed to Midway, you might want to get off at 1st Avenue, take that southbound and just follow that to 55th, and that should get you through there. Keep in mind, Central just south of 55th, right lane is closed southbound with a water main break. Also, as you are traveling through Schiller Park, there's a crash at Mannheim and Seymour. We sent Chopper 7 HD back to the Eisenhower because there were reports of a rollover crash, and right now it's about the only thing we could find that's noteworthy. Crash off to the right shoulder involving a bus. Also, still have crash cleanup right around Laramie in the right shoulder. The left lane, that's open for now, but expect that to be closed with crash cleanup as the J-wall needs to be repaired. Tanya and Diane.
Jeremy, thank you. We turn now to the crisis on the southern border. And new information overnight about the buses of migrants dropped off outside the home of Vice President Kamala Harris over the weekend. ABC's Andrew Dimbert has a story.
This morning, days after buses of migrants were dropped off in 18-degree cold on Christmas Eve outside the vice president's home in Washington, a spokesperson for Texas Governor Greg Abbott confirming the migrants came from Texas, saying they willingly chose to go. Many of the migrants, including children, were not wearing proper winter coats and clothing. Abbott's communications director saying the migrants signed a voluntary consent waiver in multiple languages. Abbott recently spoke to ABC's Martha Raddatz about the bus drop-off in multiple cities.
And I removed them to locations that self-identified as sanctuary cities that have the capability and the desire to help out these migrants. And so that's exactly what's taking place.
The White House calling the move on Christmas Eve a shameful stunt, but Abbott's office firing back, slamming the White House as a bunch of hypocrites. The back and forth comes as both sides await a ruling from the Supreme Court on Title 42, a pandemic-era policy that allows the government to expel asylum seekers on public health grounds. The Biden administration argues the COVID emergency is over. Abbott says otherwise.
Whether it's COVID or some other issue, when you have people coming across the globe without knowing at all what their health status is, that almost by definition is a public health risk. There's every reason to keep that in place.
And now new figures show the extent of the crisis. Nearly 1.6 million people are now waiting for their asylum applications to be processed, a record number, with cases now 7 times higher than a decade ago. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, New York.
The average wait time for an asylum hearing is now more than 4 years. Congressman-elect George Santos, a New York Republican, has admitted that he lied about his job experience and college education. Santos now acknowledges he didn't graduate from any institution of higher learning. Santos had also said he had worked for Citigroup and Goldman Sachs, but he now says he never worked directly for either financial firm. Santos first ran for Congress in 2020 and lost. He ran again in 2022 and won in the district that includes some Long Island suburbs and a small part of Queens. Santos says he intends to serve, but if he does step down, there will be a special election. A Michigan man faces a possible life sentence today for conspiring to abduct Governor Gretchen Whitmer and blow up a bridge near her vacation home. A judge will sentence Adam Fox today. He's accused of being at the helm of a wild plot to whip up anti-government extremists just before the 2020 presidential election. The FBI broke things up and Whitmer wasn't physically harmed. Fox's lawyer says a life sentence would be extreme. Still to stream, the new vaccination push in China as it tries to emerge from the COVID-19 pandemic. Plus the big bucks on the line in tonight's drawing for the Mega Millions jackpot.
Eyewitness News streaming at 7 continues after a break.
Welcome back, everyone. Health officials across the country are bracing for a possible COVID surge after millions return from holiday travel and gatherings.
Doctors are reminding everyone that older Americans are particularly vulnerable. And while flu and RSV cases actually appear to be slowing, experts caution that people should still remain vigilant.
You have to remember that while certain viruses are rounding the corner, we are definitely not out of the woods. So we all have to be incredibly cautious as we head into these New Year's celebrations.
COVID cases are climbing. Right now, seniors make up 90% of deaths from the virus. Just over a third of seniors have gotten an updated COVID booster shot. China is planning to drop COVID-19 quarantine requirements for international travelers starting January 8th. Right now, arriving passengers must quarantine for 5 days at a hotel and then spend 3 days in quarantine at home. People coming to China will still need a negative test 48 hours before departure. Airline passengers will still be required to wear protective masks during their flight.
Right now, we're going to link up with our Good Morning America viewers.
I'm going to have a news update for you on TV in just a little bit, and you'll see it here as well.
And then when we come back, how you can celebrate Disney's 100th anniversary with a movie marathon featuring animated Disney classics. Stay close.
Now, an update from ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Good morning. It is 7:23. I'm Tanya Babich. Midway Airport is jam-packed with frustrated travelers. Southwest has canceled thousands more flights for today. Southwest canceled 60% of its flights nationwide. Yesterday, 70% were canceled. And many travelers have to wait for several days to catch the next available flight. There are hundreds of unclaimed bags sitting at Midway this morning. Southwest apologizing in a statement saying they anticipate additional changes in the coming days. The federal government says it is looking into the problems. Let's get a check of our ABC7 AccuWeather forecast. Here's meteorologist Phil Schwartz.
Tanya, one last cold morning before things start to change. Right now it's 10 over in Michigan City. Munster, you're sitting at 6, 7 in Elmhurst, 9 in Burbank, and 9 at both O'Hare as well as Midway. You factor in the wind chill's still down below zero. It feels like it's 3 below right now at O'Hare. So a cold start, but we have big changes coming our way. You can see we do have some breaks in the overcast. Highs today into the mid-20s. That's not bad, but the big warm-up comes beginning tomorrow. Lower 40s tomorrow, lower 50s by Thursday. We'll be right back after this break.
Now's the time for a healthy start. So let's move. Let's rest and recharge. And put our health first. Let's be well. To do that, let's eat well. Breathe deep. Find joy in the little moments. And do what we love with who we love. Together, let's live well. Advocate Aurora Health.
$40, thank you. Good morning. It's been a little bit of a hectic morning on some of our expressways. The Eisenhower has been the problem child most of the day, but we are watching new problems on the dam ride inbound to 87. 3 of your left lanes, actually now all lanes open after a multi-vehicle crash at 87th. Delays begin back on the Bishop Ford at the Stony Island feeder. Also seeing delays in the inbound Stevenson right now from Central to Cicero from an earlier crash in the left lane there. At 355 northbound after Roosevelt, got a crash blocking the right lane. Couple of crashes we're watching also in Lincolnshire, Milwaukee, and Half Day Road.
Welcome back, everybody. Hey, we went up a degree. 10 degrees at 727 in Chicago. Feels a lot colder than that, though, when you factor in the wind chill, but things are going to warm up real nice around here. And speaking of getting warmed up, we're already getting excited to see what Cheryl and Terrell have planned for Countdown Chicago this New Year's Eve.
This is your reminder for all of you. You can spend the holiday with us. The party gets started with Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve with Ryan Seacrest, followed by a special edition of Eyewitness News at 9. We'll watch the ball drop in New York before the party really ramps up here with Countdown Chicago. And then after midnight, we have more fun from around the country. It is all New Year's Eve right here on ABC7.
And then on New Year's Day, a must-do for any Disney lover in the Chicagoland area. Select theaters around the country holding Disney animated movie marathons in honor of Walt Disney Company's 100th anniversary. They're playing Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, The Lion King, and Frozen all back-to-back.
Now I know
you can still grab tickets to the marathon. It begins at noon at the Marcus Theater in Orland Park. You can find more information on our website, abc7chicago.com. Disney, the parent company of ABC7.
Coming up this morning, we're hearing from financial experts who say making simple money moves now can set you up for financial success in the new year. That's ahead.
Plus, the Southwest Airlines crisis over at Midway gets worse by the day. Passengers waiting days to get out, with hundreds more flights canceled today.
You're watching ABC7 Eyewitness News at 7, streaming live now.
And right now, let's take a quick look at some of the stories we will be watching for you today. Southwest passengers prepping for another day of mass cancellations at airports across the country, including here at Midway. This after last week's winter storm moved across the country, leaving thousands, tens of thousands of people stranded. So far, about 60% of Southwest's flights have been canceled. Southwest is apologizing in a statement saying they anticipate additional changes in the coming days. The federal government stepping in to look into those problems.
Today, the Cook County Clerk is going to hold a drawing to determine the first couple to get a marriage license in 2023. Looks like a fun time there. The winning couple will receive gifts, including a gourmet dinner, dance lessons, and a wine basket. More than 75 couples have entered the contest, and we have a link to watch the live drawing at 10 o'clock this morning on abc7chicago.com and on our news app.
Get your tickets. The Mega Millions drawing is tonight. The jackpot has surpassed $565 million. Tonight's drawing is set for 10. And welcome back, everybody. I'm Diane Patthew in for Val.
And I'm Tanya Babich in for Terrell. We're quite the couple, aren't we?
We really are.
We really are.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. And we look outside and the sun is out.
Yay.
Yay, indeed. And who is that voice that I hear? That's not Tracy Butler.
Yes, it is.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Wow,
You
Tracy.
sound a little hoarse.
She sounds great to me.
No, you sound hoarse.
Oh, really?
Yes.
No, I don't feel hoarse.
Okay.
Feel just fine, matter
Okay.
of fact. But it's still cold out there. Don't let the sunshine fool you. 2 degrees, that's it for you folks in Elgin. 5 in Bolingbrook. 9 at O'Hare and Midway. 12 degrees downtown. You factor in the wind, it feels like 3 below at O'Hare. 12 below the lowest wind chill. And that is up in Crystal Lake. So still plenty cold out there. We are seeing a few clouds here and there, and that's the kind of day it will be, but more sun than clouds, at least as we go through the day today. High temperatures reaching the mid-20s during the afternoon and then holding there overnight tonight. So by tomorrow afternoon, we're going up to 42 as the thaw begins. Still plenty of sunshine tomorrow. More clouds Thursday. Look at that high. 52 degrees. Could be a little late rain Thursday night. It does turn marginally cooler as we approach New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. More on that in a few minutes. Let's see how traffic's moving this morning with Jeremy.
Well, Phil, for the most part, it's looking pretty good. Most areas a lot lighter than what we normally see, but there are a couple of hot spots we are watching. We'll start things off with Lincolnshire, Milwaukee, and Half Day Road. Crews on the scene of a crash there. Also, as you are traveling on the Dan Ryan inbound at 87, there's an earlier crash that was in a couple lanes. That's been moved off to the side, so you're still seeing delays inbound from just about 111th. Also, as you are traveling on 355 northbound, there's this earlier crash, I'm going to say that after Roosevelt, that was in a lane, and we do have a tollway camera taking a look at that. That was reportedly off to the side, and there it is, partially blocking the ramp to Roosevelt as well. So keep that in mind as you're traveling on 355 northbound. Rest of your roads looking pretty good so far this morning, Tanya and Diane.
Thank you, Jeremy. Now for today's talkers, and the year is wrapping up. A lot of people are making financial resolutions for 2023. Experts say don't wait until January 1st to pin down those money moves.
This morning, Jen Sullivan takes a look at 5 things financial experts recommend you do now to set yourself up for financial success next year.
Before you ring in the new year, how about reining in your 2023 finances?
You want to be able to have your ducks in a row. You want to have your finances organized.
After a year of historic inflation, rising interest rates, and growing recession fears, this duo of financial experts say now is the perfect time to reflect on your spending and plan for the future.
Prioritize paying off high interest rate debt, bulking up your emergency fund.
If improving your finances is one of your 2023 resolutions, here are 5 money moves to consider these final days of the year. 1. Look ahead and decide which big purchases you'd like to make next year. Then create a plan to afford that new car, house, or trip.
Making sure that you are building all of that into your budget is going to be number 1.
2. Look back at your expenses and figure out what worked and what didn't. 3. Tackle that lingering debt. Either pay it off now and avoid dragging it into next year, or come up with a plan to pay it off in 2023.
We see the feds raising the rates on interest, and so things like credit card debt, personal loans, anything that has a variable interest rate is going to cost you more.
4. Boost your emergency fund. Figure out the most scaled back amount you need in order to get by month to month.
That's going to include housing. It's going to include basic food and groceries, not a lot of dining out.
And 5, decide how much you'll invest next year and in what.
Just make sure that you're earmarking money for investing that you are not going to need for at least the next 10 years.
I'm Jen Sullivan.
All good tips. The problem I have is that we've got such varying prices everywhere, at the grocery store, at the gas pump. Everywhere we go now, prices are just so high. How do you budget for what's to come?
So there needs to be flexibility in the budget. I think the toughest thing for people to do is to this part in the middle. Look at what didn't work this year. So at the end of the year, credit cards give you like a summary of what you spent and where, and that's always the most eye-opening piece for me.
It really is.
Yeah. Like, Tanya, how much did you spend on travel this year?
Right. Right, and we use our credit card for everything, for gas, for groceries, for everything, right?
Because you either get cash back on it or you get points
or mileage.
Exactly.
Right, exactly. Yeah, but I think it can be extremely difficult to think forward like that when these prices are so just unpredictable. I agree with the investment planning, though.
Of course,
we've already done that for next year.
Especially if you have a 401k match,
Yeah.
that's free money.
Yeah.
Don't let it go.
Yeah, indeed.
ABC7 Eyewitness News continues streaming out loud after the break. We are back in 90 seconds.
Good morning, everyone. We've seen this dip in the jet stream reaching all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico, keeping it unseasonably cold for the vast majority of the country. But look how that changes over the next couple of days. That's going to allow for much warmer conditions across the eastern 2/3 of the country, including our area. So high temperatures tomorrow, lower 40s around here. The real warmth, though, comes Thursday. Look at that high, 52 and 61 in St. Louis. We'll get up to about 51 early Friday, and then temperatures will fall into the lower 40s by Friday afternoon. And then we'll be in the lower 40s this weekend. Cooler than what we'll see Thursday and early Friday, but still way above normal. Today, though, 26 for a high. That's some 8 degrees below the average of 34. 9 in Des Plaines right now, 10 in Wilmette, 10 in Whiting, and 9 at both airports, and you can see 9 up there in Madison as well. So quiet conditions across the Midwest, no organized areas of precipitation. We are seeing a few clouds moving in this flow, but overall we will get to see a fair amount of sunshine. Mid-20s today, temperatures hold steady tonight in the mid-20s. So tomorrow, much warmer start than what we see today, and then in the afternoon with a good amount of sunshine, it's going to be delightful with highs into the lower 40s. Still chilly today, highs 24 to 28, sunny to partly cloudy, not as cold as the last several days. There's the warm up, 52 Thursday. That high Friday happens early in the day. As far as this weekend is concerned, New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, highs in the lower 40s. Could be a little light rain early in the day on New Year's Eve, and then at night into Sunday, some more showers, but nothing heavy expected. Jeremy.
Well, Phil, I got a quick question for you. We've been seeing a lot of problems on the Ike this morning. This is a new one near Central Park. Could we see icing on one certain expressway and not the rest of them?
You know, I would doubt it. I mean, it is possible depending on how they treated the roads. But my guess is it's not weather related. You can always get that black ice in a few places, but I doubt that those accidents are truly weather related.
Okay, because you know there's that vehicle fire. Thanks for that, Phil, because, yeah, this is another crash in the inbound Eisenhower. Not sure it's pure coincidence or it could be what Phil says, black ice. We'll keep an eye on that. You're heavy all the way back from Central to Central Park. A couple of right lanes are closed with that crash. Other than that, the rest of your expressways, most of them are running about base times, the inbound Eisenhower. I'm going to call that about 30 minutes in from Manheim. You're also still seeing some huge delays on the Dan Ryan inbound from that much earlier crash in a couple of lanes. It's 20 minutes in from 95th all the way into the Burn interchange. Because of that, you're seeing nasty delays on the Bishop Ford inbound from the Stony Island feeder all the way into the merge. Give yourself about 22 minutes to get from 8094 into 95th. You might want to think about taking 57 as your alternate. As you see, you're just heavy from Halstead all the way in. Stevenson, for the most part, looking good. Kennedy, that's delay free. Let's go back to the tollways, though, real quick, where the crews are still cleaning up that crash on the northbound side of 355 right after Roosevelt. Everything finally moved off to the right shoulder, and we're starting to see delays really subside through that stretch. Had at least one lane blocked off, but again, if you are heading out and about, watch out for those bridges, ramps, and overpasses, as those may be just a little bit slick as you're traveling out and about. Tanya and Diane.
Thank you, Jeremy. Now to the divorce and co-parenting arrangement in Kim Kardashian's words. The mother of four says it's a balancing act, getting candid about her separation with Ye, formerly known as Kanye, during a podcast. She said she protects her kids from her former husband's behavior for their sake. She alludes to shielding the children from what Ye has said about her on social media. Kardashian adding, quote, "I have managed to do that and I'm holding on by a thread." She added, "I will protect that to the end of the earth as long as I can," end quote.
Yeah, she got real emotional in that podcast interview, and I think that was the very first time that she had opened up so candidly and so, I guess, raw about what's going on with the two of them. And the one thing that I think came out of it that felt genuine to me is that she said that she had this overwhelming need to want to protect them from the negativity. And that did make a lot of sense to me. The rest of it seemed, I don't know. Part of me sometimes thinks that the Kardashians say things to draw more attention to themselves that are maybe not necessarily the facts. You know what I mean? So it didn't feel 100% genuine, the podcast interview, but that particular part of it did to me. Of course, I'm not a parent. I don't have, the situation that she has, but it felt a little...
Well, you hope that it is, because at the end of the day, there are four children who need to be protected,
right?
From, from just the media hoopla around this entire family.
But I think what we're forgetting is that they're not you and me. They are surrounded by security and nannies and housekeepers and that are protecting them. You know what I mean? So it's not like they're out into the real world and they're getting bombarded by.
At some point, though, you can't protect them.
At some point, correct. When they get old enough, there's nothing you can do.
We wish nothing but good things and healthy environments for those children.
Absolutely.
More coming up in 90 seconds.
Here in Chicago, our weather is always changing. That's why ABC7 Eyewitness News is always there.
There when you need us.
Giving you the most accurate forecast.
Anytime.
On any screen, tracking severe storms.
With live Doppler 7 Max, the most advanced technology.
So you know how to prepare.
No matter where you live, we're there when you need us. ABC7 Eyewitness News, your AccuWeather station.
Jennifer Lopez decked out her home for the holidays with a special theme this year. The 53-year-old singer shared photos from her holiday celebration in the latest installment of her on the JLo newsletter. She centered her Christmas theme around the idea of the hummingbird. Lopez writing that to her, hummingbirds are messengers of love and a sign that everything is going to be okay.
I can't get over the fact that she has a newsletter.
That and the fact that she's 53. I mean, look at that. She
I know.
looks so good.
And the fun thing is like that look is such a statement, and it's working for me.
Oh gosh, she's gorgeous.
I know, she can do no wrong. She's stunning.
53. Yes, ma'am.
So now to Britney Spears and her husband. The couple had a merry Britmas, spending the day in nature. Sam Asghari, a fitness trainer and actor, shared a video and photo of himself and Spears meditating while on a hike. He wrote on Instagram, "My wife is really becoming a meditation guru, and I love it. Merry Britmas to you all."
All right, as long as she's happy, healthy, safe, they both look like they're deeply in love, good, enjoy it. Stay that way.
Please.
One of sci-fi's most beloved small screen heroes celebrates a major milestone.
This morning, we're getting a peek at a Doctor Who teaser. Have a look.
Sometimes I think there's something missing. Like I had something lovely, and it's gone.
I don't know who I am anymore. The show is just beginning. Worldwide premiere.
Who are they?
Monsters. I don't believe in destiny, but if destiny exists, then it is heading for Donna Noble. Open fire! If she ever remembers me, she will die.
You mean man? He's not there. You can't see him.
Alvy! Someone tell me what the hell is going on here?
Whew, indeed. My heart rate just went up. David Tennant making a comeback as the titular Time Lord in a special series celebrating the 60th anniversary of the popular sci-fi program. Fans will also notice Neil Patrick Harris as the show's latest villain when the 3-part event premieres next November. That's next November?
That's exciting.
They're teasing it now? You have all this work done on it, and we have to wait till next November?
Mark your calendars. Come on. More news coming after a short break. Stay close, everybody.
Eyewitness News, streaming at 7, continues after a break.
You see the look on his face?
I know how you feel.
My biggest fear was on that.
But I knew I was never alone, because people care.
So walk right in.
Get back on.
Step right up. And to everyone who sees anyone bullying, don't just watch. Act.
Together, we can put an end to bullying.
You can learn more at disney.com/choose-kindness.
Look out, Wheel. Here she comes.
Big money!
R.
T.
Hit it.
Thanks, my shoes were a little scuffed.
Oh, come on. We have $1 million winner.
I'd like to solve fun everywhere you look.
Sounds like fun.
That's what we like to hear.
Wheel of Fortune, weeknights at 6:30 on ABC7.
Good morning, everyone. We are beginning to see some sunshine this morning, but it is cold. 3 in Morris, 1 in McHenry, 9 at both airports. You factor in the wind, it feels like 3 below at O'Hare, 2 below in Gurnee, 12 below the current wind chill in Crystal Lake, and 9 below in Sugar Grove. We go through the day today, mid-20s for highs, but look at the big jump in temperatures, lower 40s. We finally start that thaw, lower 50s Thursday. We could see a little light rain Thursday night into Friday. Not a big deal. That high Friday of 51 happens early in the day, then temperatures fall. So as we get into the weekend, New Year's Eve, maybe some light rain early. Temperatures a bit cooler, but still not bad for New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, with highs still reaching the lower 40s and still the upper 30s early next week. Back to you.
Thank you, Phil. Now to a Cousin Eddie holiday display in Kentucky, which apparently looked a little too real that police were called to check it out. Kentucky police received several calls about a, quote, male standing outside naked in a robe covering part of his body, exposing himself, and he's got a hose between, well, not quite between his legs. He's holding a hose. But that's the report that police got. Don't shoot me, I'm just the messenger. So police arrive, and I hope their reaction was pretty similar to Phil's here. It was a mannequin in the yard looking like Cousin Eddie from National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, decorated with a robe, a hat, a cigar, and a beer, holding what appeared to be an orange hose. The town's police chief says there is never a dull moment in policing.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong. Phil, jump in. Was Cousin Eddie not a little larger in size than this man? Okay, I'm just saying, like, that looks nothing like Cousin Eddie.
Nothing like
it. Like, did you guys watch the movie?
I need to Google Cousin Eddie now.
He looks nothing like that.
Nothing like him. He was 25, 30 years older than that.
And he was 25 or 30 pounds heavier than that mannequin.
I'm looking.
Yeah, he looked nothing like that. There's the rope shot right there. There it is. You just passed it.
Okay.
Yeah, like, no.
Oh.
No. I mean, I get it because the gesture is the same, right?
Sure.
But he doesn't, I mean, that's Cousin Eddie.
Doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
This looks like baby Cousin Eddie.
Yeah,
Cousin
Eddie's
training.
son.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. All right, let's talk about National Fruitcake Day, celebrating the holiday treat that so many people dread getting as gifts. It's made of candied or dried fruit, nuts, spices, sometimes soaked in liqueurs or whiskey. Fruitcakes date back to ancient Rome. The expression nutty as a fruitcake was coined back in 1935. Look, it's so gross.
Oh, God, I can't watch that.
But I will still eat a slice. Like so gross.
People love it.
And I don't, but I'll still eat it.
Because of the maraschino cherry, the green maraschino cherry is what does it for me.
The thing is, it's so holiday-y.
But there are nice versions of it.
Are there?
Nope.
I've just had the nasty version of it.
If you're going to have it, today's the day. Thanks so much for watching Eyewitness News at 7 a.m. I'm going to have a news update for you for the next hour or so. Phil Schwartz and Jeremy Scott will talk weather and traffic during Good Morning America.
We'll hear from them in just a moment. From everyone here on ABC7, have a wonderful day. We'll see you again tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock. Have a great day.
This has been Eyewitness News, streaming at 7.